Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin Charlie, and in today's episode, we are speaking to director, producer, actor, writer Alvin Gray today. So, who's going to be talking about everything about filmmaking? Hi, Alvin. How's it?
Hey, hey, how's it going? Thank you for having me.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So, do you mind telling us about yourself? What you
Yes,
do in the film industry?
yeah. So I'm a producer, director, and actor here in Baltimore, Maryland, in the United States. I currently have a couple of different films out that you can see on Tubi, Amazon, and yeah, I make movies for the most part. I enjoy making movies, shooting them, directing them, and also being in them.
How do you think the industry has changed since you started and in 2024 right now? So what do you think has changed?
I think technology has changed drastically since 2004 to 2024. Most definitely, I went from shooting on three CCD chip cameras with mini DV tapes to now shooting on 2 terabyte hard drives. Which back when I first started shooting, a terabyte hard drive was something you will only see in big budget studios, and now I have 10 of them in my basement. So technology has definitely changed for the better. I remember distinctly shooting one movie called Senior Cut Day 20 years ago, and we had to light the night, and we had generators all over the place. There was loud noises all over the place, and we couldn't mask out the sound. I shot the same movie again last year, and we had no generators at all and wireless lights everywhere to make the light
Yeah.
to light the night. So technology has definitely changed for the better.
Yeah, it's just really changed though because I also this I also started those DV cam where you doesn't have like a full card. You just have to
Mhm.
use there's a wire. It used to be called fire wire. I don't know like
Uh-huh.
it's well that's
Yep.
how you would transfer
You had to
footage.
transfer the
And
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's how you transfer footage. How long have you been making movies? Like how long have you been
Yeah.
making movies?
Um, I've been making movies for a very long time now. I want to say maybe 15 plus years. I took a little break. I took about 5 to 6 years off, and just went to explore life. And I recently came back into filmmaking maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. So I've been on and off this path of filmmaking my whole adult life and some of my teenage life as well. I played with television and radio. So overall, I've been in media since my teenage years. Um, and it has its ups and downs, of course, like any career. But yeah, I've definitely been on this path my whole life. Um, and I don't really regret it.
I actually saw the trailer of one of your film, the rapper that got shot. Like it's really cool. Like I was telling you before we started recording just now that it doesn't look like an independent film the way it was shot, and
Mhm.
it's just very the way it was shot, and also the location that you used was also great. So
Thank you.
yeah, I just want to know, what's like when it comes to indie films, what's your take on production value?
I think that production value is really important when doing indie films, and I feel like that's something. Well, here's the thing. To me personally, I feel like you have indie films, and then you have guerrilla indie films. Which is a difference because some people out here spend $500,000 to $1 million on an indie film, and then you have others who spend $500 to 1,000 on an indie film. So I think on either scale of an indie film, you shouldn't skip corners in certain departments. One of the major things I feel like you shouldn't skip corners are locations. Locations matter. That's a part of the cinematic journey that a lot of filmmakers, especially beginning filmmakers, forget to use. Just locations. That's very important to set the tone for your story. I think that anyone with good lighting and a good location are able to create a good indie film, rather on a low level guerrilla style or on a higher level. I think those two things are important: lighting and location.
Location is a key thing for production value. So, with regards to talking about film, so Is there, because I hear a lot of people talk about, when you're making an indie film, you should stick to horror movies. Like, what's your take on that? Like, indie movies has to be like, you should stick to like horror movies. Don't go
Yeah,
filmy drama. Like,
yeah.
what's your take on that? Though?
I think that horror films are definitely a easy in to doing a movie, to completing a film. You don't really need much for that. Just need something, some woods or a haunted house, one monster and one person to chase, and some scary music. So it's definitely an easier way, and you don't have to play too much into the audience. So you don't need a whole dramatic story for that. No character development necessarily. So I definitely think that it's an easier way to get into the film business. Me personally, my first movie ever was a scary movie, a horror film
Yeah.
um, that took place in the woods. So and I think that's a easy way to get into the
Oh, okay.
business.
So, what do you think of film festivals? You know, what's your take on film festivals? Because I know it's a big thing of when independent filmmakers want to put their movies on film festival just to give popularity for the film, or just to connection networking. But what's your take on film
Me,
festivals?
Yeah, I don't go the film festival route. Not saying it's good or bad. That's just not the reason why I make film. Um, you know, I make film to get them on distribution platforms to make money, or to be seen. I don't really want to pay a festival to play my movie there. That's just not my thing. I'm not interested in that. I'm not saying anything is wrong with it. That's just not the reason why I make film. So I think film festivals are cool. I don't think that's the only way to go when making films. I think if you want to get your films out there, you shouldn't rely on film festivals alone.
So now let's talk about on-set. On-set.
Hmm.
So you are director, you're obviously the DOP too, and sometimes you act in your movies.
Hmm.
So how is that possible? Like, is it, you make it look easy, you make it look easy, but tell me about it.
It's not easy. It's very stressful, but sometimes you do what you got to do. So um, what I do is I set up the camera. Sometimes I put it on a tripod. Sometimes I ask my wife. Sometimes I hire a DP to shoot my scenes, and I'll shoot everything else. It just depends on the day in the project. I know in the next movie that's coming out that I'm in, every time I'm on the camera, I would just set the camera up and have a PA shoot my scenes, and then the rest of the scenes with everyone else, I would take the camera and shoot everything else myself. So I know everyone else is going to look good, but I'm always scared that I might not look the best because it's now I'm not shooting myself.
Yeah, yeah. I remember I I acted in one of my movies a long time ago. That movie, I'm the only one who has watched that movie. I laugh at myself again because I feel in my head is I'm not good enough. Like, I'm not good. I can direct people, but in my
Yeah.
head I criticize my acting too much.
Oh yeah.
That's why
Oh yeah.
the movie has never seen the like light of day. It's never seen the
Yeah.
light
I'm the
of day.
same way, man. I'm the same way. You should put it out. We're our worst critics. I hate hearing myself. That's because that's just how everyone is. That's how I am. So um, don't let that stop you, man. I would still put it out. Just learn from it, put it out, and just
Yeah,
never look at
someday, 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 someday. So, on set, do you prefer to shoot? What cameras do you shoot with? Like, what
Um,
cameras do you
it,
shoot with?
It depends on the project. So, I've worked with the uh Black Magic, the Sony X3, um, the Sony A7s, the Komodo, Red Komodo. I've worked on all different types of cameras. And we can go far as back as saying like the Canon 5Ds. So I've worked on a lot of different cameras throughout my career, just depending on the project, depending on the budget. Um, yeah, but I pretty much touched every camera, including a Ari one time. So I get around just depending on the project.
Yeah. So, but do you have like a go-to camera for an indie film, like for your personal, like where you know this camera is not going to disappoint me? Because sometimes you go on set and then there's battery issues, there's card issues, there's low lights,
Hmm.
there's just these things happening. So is there any camera that for an indie film that you'll be like, okay, I trust this camera, I'm gonna use this camera?
I would say on an indie scale, I would definitely go with like a Sony A7 is like a guaranteed safety. And if you have confidence to work on your own focus, then I would say Black Magic. But between those two cameras, you can't go wrong on a running gun type of style shoot. You know, you can just pick up, go, and shoot. As long as your lighting is right and your lenses are right, I feel like you'll be okay with that style of camera for a indie running gun type of style shooting.
The movie I'm currently working on now, it's called the Code Father, and I shot it
Hmm.
with Sony FX30, two Sony FX30, and it's pretty good. So I must say it's really coming out well. So in terms of
Yeah,
your
yeah.
crew on set, do you have like a go-to numbers of crew like for an indie film? Like what are the key crew members that you need on set, and you'll be like, this when I have this amount of crew, I'll definitely know I'm going to do something. So is there any
Me,
amount of
me.
crew that you need on set? Like
I just shot a movie last week, and it was just two people on crew, me and another person. That's it. And we shot a feature
sound?
film. We
Wow,
used
how did
wireless,
that
and then
happen?
we just did it. And really, the second person was just script supervisor to make sure that everything was being read properly. Over the actors got lost, I wasn't able to tell them, so the script supervisor was. But yeah, just this last week, it was just me and another person. We just shot it and got it done in 4 days,
Wow. So
5 days. Right?
basically you rock your key crew is you, script supervisor, you're good.
Yep. Yep.
Just two people, you're good. Wow, okay. That's like for
It's
me,
easy. It's sometimes.
for me, yeah.
No, no, I was gonna say sometimes it's easier that way.
No, no, no. I completely get it. The lesser the crew, the more easy your life as a producer, as a director is on set, because indie film is very sensitive. It's a very sensitive scale when you are filming, and there are people on set who you're like, they start acting up, and then it gets to, it just grows.
Yeah.
So if you have,
Yeah.
limited crew, then it becomes such a easy,
Mhm. Yeah.
flow.
Things never go as planned with with indie films, to the point now where I don't even plan as much. I just say, hey, whatever God gives us this day, we're going to work with it, because things never go to plan. And because that's a lack of budget, that's a lack of motivation, or lack of crew members sometimes, or just I would say lack of budget again. So sometimes things just don't go to plan. So you always have to have a plan B, C, D, and E, and sometimes maybe just a plan through the whole alphabet to move forward. Some days the actors get sick. We're on set. I didn't pay for locations. I didn't got the camera rental,
Oh,
and the actors are like, "Hey, I can't make it. What do you do?" So you have to say, "All right, we're going
yeah.
to improv." We have to improv around certain things. We might have to say, all right, um, instead of you talking to the other actor, we're gonna have you just talk to yourself, or do a phone conversation, and we'll shoot the other actor later. There's been scenes where I had 5 actors in one scene, and one of the actors call out. So what I'll do is I'll just shoot the 4 actors in their spaces, and then bring the one actor back the next day and shoot their stuff separately and blend it all in together. So these are the things that sometimes happen in indie film that you just have to learn how to work with and work around.
So, but what's your take
Mhm.
on distribution when it comes to independent film?
It's we're still in an uphill battle with that. I don't think that indie filmmakers have mastered the distribution part of things just yet. I think we have. I wouldn't say a long way to go. I think we're halfway there. I was talking to someone about this earlier. There are a lot of streaming platforms that are starting to create and come, and everyone has a platform now. Everyone has a streaming network now. So we're still trying to muster through to see who's the best and who actually is legit and who's just trying to be a money grab. Me personally, I think I put my money on YouTube, man. I think that YouTube has a very big platform that is just not being utilized in the right way. I think personally that YouTube is actually better than Tubi. They're bigger, they've been around longer, they're more marketable. People know the name way more of YouTube than they know Tubi. I just think that YouTube hasn't utilized their resources the right way. I think let's say, for example, YouTube created a feature film with Rihanna and just showed it exclusively on YouTube. YouTube has now gained the credibility that's needed for um, notoriety of saying they create films. Now, at this point, everyone's looking at YouTube like, oh, YouTube actually plays movies. Now, indie filmmakers are able to jump over there and actually put their films out, and no one's looking at
Yeah.
YouTube like, oh, you put it on YouTube. It's like, oh, you put it on YouTube with Rihanna stuff. So I think that
Yeah.
I think we're definitely halfway there to we're in the right direction. We just need a little push a little bit further because again, Tubi is nothing more than just an app. And if we're just comparing apps, YouTube is one of the biggest apps right now in the world. We're just looking at it as something to play and we're not taking it as serious yet.
But although not forgetting that for you to make money on YouTube, you have to be monetized. Your channel has to be
Hmm.
doing well before you even make
Hmm.
money. But
Yeah.
obviously, if maybe you find someone who is already monetized who has a channel who that is doing well, you can put your
Hmm.
movies on there and you can actually get revenue. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's truly what you said is true because YouTube has a lot of viewers, even more than any platform. I don't know, I stand to
Yeah.
be corrected, but like a lot of, you know, and the whole
Yeah.
idea of Tubi is free. It's the same thing like YouTube. But sometimes you hear independent filmmakers saying, they don't want to put their movies on YouTube. They it's almost talk less, like you like no no no, I don't want to put my movies on YouTube.
Right. That,
But
but that's
looking
and that's
at
what I
it,
mean when I say they're
YouTube.
not being marketed the right way. I think once YouTube actually says, "Hey, we're YouTube, the film studio," and they put out that's again like Rihanna, I keep or Taylor Swift movie. Once they put a real movie onto that network, onto that platform, everyone's going to flood through. They just need one. They just need one good celebrity to make a movie and put it on. Jennifer Lopez just put out a movie on, I think, Amazon or something. Like they just need one of those type of stars. And once that happens, people will no longer look at YouTube as something that kids play with. It will be like, okay, you have a billion to one streaming platform right there, so use it. They're just not using it the right way. They're still playing. YouTube is still playing right now, but they'll get it. They'll catch on to it. Make me the CEO of YouTube. I'll
Please, man, that should be great. That should be great, man. So in terms
yeah.
of obviously distribution or still on distribution, is there any when it comes to the contract, is there
Mhm.
anything that you've learned over the years to say, okay, when I'm distributing my movies, these are the like things that I should look out for in terms of contract when it comes to my movies?
I I don't like the thought of filmmakers right now giving up their rights for their creations. So that's something that you should watch for in your contracts and try to. I mean, I think contracts are made to be negotiated anyway. So if you can negotiate, hey, I don't want to give you exclusive rights to my film for 10 years. I don't want to give you exclusive rights to my film for 5 years. Maybe you should negotiate that and watch out for that. Also, watch out for percentages, how much they're taking on the back end, or how much they're going to charge you for things like marketing. What are you doing for the marketing? Why are you charging me $25,000 for marketing and you're not marketing at all? I don't see any billboards. I don't see anything. So these are the things you need to watch for when you're signing these contracts. How much money is being taken away? How much are you actually getting? I've seen people who've done distribution deals and actually got negative. So when it's time for to get paid, they're like, "Well, you made $4,000, but you actually owe us another $3,000, so you're negative $3,000 now." Because so
Why? Is it because of the
because
the marketing? The
because of the marketing, because of like we paid $50,000 for your marketing. So I'm like, well, where's the marketing at? What do you do for that? Oh, we ran banners, and we put it on our website and all this other nonsense crap. So again, that's why I say with YouTube, they have something there, because with YouTube, you can actually go behind the scenes and look at your numbers. You can see all kinds of information. You can see your demographics. So they have it's a whole platform there that we're just not utilizing yet collectively. And maybe that might be something that they'll hear this interview and they'll tap into it. But everything that's needed for filmmakers are there at YouTube. They're just not being marketed right.
For me, I also think the contract. One thing that I'm looking out for now for me is the length of the length of my movies. The how long you're going to have my movie for,
Hmm.
and are you, like you said, in terms of marketing? If you, I I don't think, let me do my marketing myself.
Right.
I think, if you're going to tell me you're going to charge me for marketing, then
Hmm.
I would need the receipts, the details of everything that
Yeah.
you paid for. Like, I need to see it, because I don't want to
Yeah.
wake up and then you tell me you've paid, you've used 5 grand for marketing, and then when it's time for you to pay me, you have to take your 5 grand out first before you even give me
Right.
whatever I'm owed. So that's
Right.
a no-no for me.
That's
Yeah,
bullcrap, man. And I don't think that. I mean, no. And this is the thing. Also, you can have a big movie with Tom Cruise in it or something, and even still, no matter how much marketing you put into it, if people don't like it, they don't like it. So how much money are they really? How much marketing do you really need to have in order for your indie film to pop? Either it's going to work or it's not going to work. I don't know how much marketing money would need to be spent in order for this marketing to actually be effective. So I think it's just a scam.
yeah,
Again, they're running banners and charging 6 grand for it. That's crazy to say we have a $50,000 marketing plan for you, but you don't see yourself on any commercials on local television. That's crazy to me. So I just don't think it's something that filmmakers should agree to. I would just say, if anything, take that marketing money yourself and put it onto social media. Run banners on social media. Use Facebook marketing. Use the metaverse. Use Instagram. Use TikTok. Things like that. Put the marketing money into that. That's what I would suggest. Don't let the distributors take your money and say we spent
yeah,
50, 60,000 dollars on market. That's
yeah.
BS. That's not true.
Yeah, that's true. I can see how you're passionate when it comes to when it
Yeah, man,
comes to
because I've been through it.
distribution.
I've been through this a lot now, and I've been through several distributors just in the last 4 years. So I've learned a lot, and I just feel like I wish someone would have told me these things, but no one did. There's a lot of gatekeepers out here. People don't want to expose the secrets. To me personally, I feel like we're in the movie business. We You make one movie, that person makes a movie. Most people only watch a movie 1 or 2 times, and after that they're done. They gotta be on to the next anyway. So why are we holding from each other when we all can make movies and we'll still all get our movies seen at some point in the month or so whatever? It's enough
Yeah,
people out here to make enough movies for everybody. Why are we trying to keep all these secrets? It doesn't make any sense to me.
yeah, that's true. But also, though, one thing when it comes to the contract too, I also wanted to say, um, I need to know if whoever the distributor is giving the movie to, I need to know. It needs to be in the contract. You have to have it in the contract. They must let you know.
Hmm.
You must know,
Right.
because you don't want to wake up and then boom, your movie is bought in North America and then you don't even
Hmm.
know that
Yeah, I've seen
it's
that
bought.
happen.
So I need, yeah,
Yeah, no, I've seen that happen to a friend of mine. Her film was playing across seas, and she had no idea. One of her friends happened to be on vacation. They're like, "Oh, I seen your movie on television," and she's confused, calling her distributor like, "Hey, my movie's playing in London. How is this possible?" So you have to watch out for those kind of things. Also, it's a lot of games being played with this business right now, and it's only because they can get away with it right now. That's again, we're halfway in the halfway mark. We have a long way to go, but we're halfway there. But I feel like maybe in the next decade, there are going to be a lot of lawsuits against these distributors because they all doing shady stuff behind the scenes. They're smudging numbers
yeah,
and collecting monies from across seas, and we don't know about it.
yeah. It's actually very sad because even when sometimes when the money gets to your hand, it's broken down. Like it's
Mhm.
you're actually getting, you know, realistically maybe 20% of your actual movie
Yeah,
because
no,
this like the streaming service will probably take theirs, the
yep,
distribution will take theirs, then
yep.
some whoever the distribution make a deal with will also take theirs. So before you actually get your own back end stuff, it's way less.
Yeah, that's why I
Yeah,
think it's important. That's why again with YouTube, it's farm to table in a sense. It's just right there. You take your movie, you upload it, and you collect your money. That's it. YouTube gets their cut. Even if YouTube took 50%, which I'm not saying that's fair, but even if they took 50%, it's just 50-50. That's it. There's no other
yeah,
middle
yeah,
nonsense going on. So
yeah. You and
uh
you're still seeing the report, right? You're
and you
still going to
still see
see
the
the
reports.
report.
Like right now,
Yeah,
I uploaded something to YouTube yesterday. I can go in right now and see if it was a man or woman, what was their age range, what city they're in, and what time they looked at it. Right now, YouTube shows you that stuff. That
yeah.
you no distributor is giving that kind of information right now.
Of course, of course. So let's say, how about let's say, being an independent producer, what you should actually be aiming for more is to try to get your YouTube channel monetized. You know,
Yeah,
try to push to have it monetized so you can get, revenue and you can start posting content. Because I know a lot of people who are making bucks from YouTube. Even with the short
yeah.
content they make, they're killing it on YouTube. Yeah,
Yeah, just got to get your subscribers up. But um, and that's a whole
yeah.
different thing too. I'm still trying to learn YouTube, and it's crazy because YouTube came out when I was in high school. It was just on the computers, but it's progressed so much since then. But I'm still trying to learn the new wave and how people are monetizing. What does even monetizing mean, really? I'm still learning everything, but I think that it's opportunity.
What route have you gone, with marketing your movies? How was it before you started even making the movie? Was it before or after you just done with everything? Is that how you marketed? Oh,
No, I don't really market my movies. So I don't really do a lot of marketing. The movies that do well, they just take off because of the topic. Number one, so they'll just trend on TikTok and Twitter and stuff like that, and it'll just go viral, and it does its own thing. I don't really do a lot of marketing per se, like radio and TV and things like that. For my movie premieres, when I have movie premieres, I'll do media. I'll do like radio and local TV and things like that. But I have done billboards a couple of times, but really, my stuff is just word of mouth, and I'm slowly building a fan base that like spread the word also. So that's what I do. But not to say that's the best way to go, because it's probably not the best way to go. But that's just the way that I go for now, and let it organically do whatever it's going to do.
so do you have like a favorite a movie that you can watch over and over again? Like, do you have?
Favorite movie I could watch over and over again. I have a couple of favorite movies I could watch over and over again. But I think if I had to choose any, it would be The Last Dragon, which is a parody, I think, of the Bruce Lee thing or whatever. But that's one of my favorite movies that I could quote over and
Oh,
over again. Um, Home Alone is another one, which is a really weird, but
yeah,
yeah, but I like a
yeah,
lot of
that's
movies. I
evergreen.
like movies from the '90s in general. Like I'm a very big fan of '90s movies. The way they make me feel, the orchestra, just the softness of the film, and authenticity of it. I don't like a lot of this green screen stuff, and there's a lot of this weird stuff. So I'm a big fan of '90s movies and how they make me feel. But if I had to pick my favorite, it would definitely be Last Dragon and Home Alone. And I have a lot of other ones, but those two I think I'll stick with for the record.
What's your take when it comes to, funding, film funding, and
Hmm.
looking for investment for independent film?
Well, here's the thing with that. A lot of people do need a lot more funding. because it's easier that way, you know. But me personally, I didn't grow up in the industry with funding. I learned how to do things more hands on. So I'm able to cut a lot of corners because I'm not. When I first started doing this business, things were nowhere near as easy as it is now. All right. So I'm like, oh, this is easy. You have access to lights without cords. You have power without electric, like so everything that people have access to now, this is all they know. And I've come from a time in life with film where it was a lot harder. So to me, I'm like, oh, y'all spoiled. I don't need all those different things in order to make this stuff happen. And I just make it happen with what I have. So I do take the money that I make from my older films in order to, put it into the new films, but I don't do the whole big budget stuff really. I try to keep it simple, bare bones.
So do you have your average budget that you shoot your movies for in terms of your movies?
Yeah, yes, yeah. On the record, I would say on the record, $200,000. Two hundred
Oh
thousand. My film started $250,000 on the record.
my
Um, Take it for what you want.
word. All right, I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. So
Yeah.
while we are on this, still in the film, like the on set, there's a question that's someone actually asked. Okay, I need to start asking the directors about this particular thing.
Hmm.
Have you? Obviously, you're a director, okay? So have you directed a makeout scene, and how's that experience been? Makeout scene or a sex scene?
Yeah, I've done a couple. I've actually been in one, and I've actually directed a couple of them. And it's not what people think that's watching it. It's very strategically done. It's carefully done. And it's interesting. Because it's weird. Like when I direct scenes like that, I'm like, okay, what you're gonna do, and I say it so mechanically. They're like, okay, I need you to put your hand on her breast, I need you to put her or your arm on here. I need you to kiss her right here. Now lick her finger and do that. Like I'm just like saying these different things, and to the actors that are on set, they're freaking out because it's not normal. People think that, oh, it's fun to do these kind of scenes. Yeah, it's fun when you're doing it when you're drunk and you're by yourself. But when you have 5 to 10 people, just even on a closed set, watching you be intimate with someone, it's different. And I remember just recently, I was shooting a scene where these two people were intimate in the bed and they had to kiss. And I'm like, action, and they start kissing, but the girl's head kept turning towards the camera, and I'm like, no, this isn't a real kiss. You're performing for the camera. So now they're awkwardly trying to kiss this way, and it looks great to me, but it feels awkward to
Oh.
them. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck how awkward it feels. Excuse me, I don't give a heck how awkward it feels. I'm here to direct the scene that looks beautiful for the camera. It's not about what feels good. It's about what looks good for this. Keep your feelings full when we off the scene. But right here, sometimes you got to get in awkward positions. Sometimes you might have to, have a light shining in certain areas you don't want to in order to display things appropriately. Because you also have to worry about that when shooting scenes. The average man and woman don't look good in all angles. So you have to make sure you light them in certain angles. Make sure that their back fat isn't showing a certain way. Make sure certain things don't look, so it's a whole thing that people don't appreciate or understand. But it's a lot that goes into shooting a intimate scene.
Yeah, I've done the few. It's also actually, so for me, how I do that is sometimes when I'm filming that makeout scene, so
Hmm.
I also like let them know, like, okay, where is which part of your body you don't you want to be touched, the way.
Hmm.
So I need them to be comfortable, and
Yeah.
and I'm it's like you said, it's not that bad. It's not as people imagine when it comes to, like,
Right.
I know, during editing we all make it look authentic as possible.
Right. Right.
But shooting it is not as fun though, because you just
Not
want
at
to
all.
get this thing done, because it's not comfortable for the cameraman, it's not
Yeah.
comfortable for the actors, the directors, everybody. We just want to get
Anyone.
this done.
Now I don't know about
Yeah.
these new Tubi movies. Everybody look like they having fun on those though. It's just straight out. So I made the movie. the nurse that saw the baby on the highway, and my wife was watching, and we were watching it, and she's like, "It's too clean. You have to add a sex scene to this movie in order for it to get on Tubi." And I'm like, I really don't
Really?
want to. But she's like, huh? No,
Wow.
so she's like,
And
that's what you have to do. So sure enough, though, we did it, and that was what sparked the fire for that movie, along with some other stuff. But that's what a lot of people and a lot of trending topic sections were talking about. So it's unfortunate that sex does sell.
see, what do you do when you get censored, when you take it to some distributors and they say, do you like they don't want it because it has this particular explicit scenes, and what do you do? Like how do and that tells the story forward.
Yeah. See, what I learned with Tubi is that they want you to push the limits, but they don't want to push it so far because they still have to sell commercials in between to put them in between the movie. So you can't sell Dawn dish liquid or Tide dish laundry soap when you have a woman's bare breast, full frontal nudity out. So they're okay with side boob, they're okay with like cleavage or butt, but when you start showing genitals or nipple area, that's when you start getting to the X zone where they don't want your movie because they can't put commercials in between the scenes now because it's now borderline pornography. So you have to be careful. You have to still strategically do stuff where you're showing enough to get people excited, but you're not showing too much where big corporations don't want their commercials in between your movie.
What's your general take when it comes to independent film post production?
I don't like it, man. I really don't. Um, because I do it so much. I do a lot of stuff, So out of everything, I don't like it, but at the same time, it's therapeutic. It's like washing the dishes. Like I hate washing dishes, but once I actually start washing them, I'm actually in the zone and I start just washing everything. And I'm like, oh, let me wipe the counter down. Let me just start doing these little things. So that's how I feel about post production, the editing part of it, of course, like the video editing of it. When it comes to like sound cleaning and scrubbing and I'm doing Foley and things like that, or the scoring part or special effects. I start outsourcing work at that point. I can't do but so much before I can't. I mean, I can do it, but after a while, I'm like, all right, Alvin, you're burning yourself out, and you can be doing other things. So you have to start outsourcing some stuff.
Yeah, but like in terms of post production, though, have you giving maybe one of your movies to an editor? Sometimes they say, independent filmmakers they have this huge attachment, which I
Hmm.
also have too. Because I
Hmm.
directed this movie, and you give it to an editor, it turns to a completely different movie. Like,
Yes.
have you
But
had this
yeah,
that experience?
the movie. I mean, and I say this all the time. A movie happens three different times. It happens when you're writing it, when you're shooting it, and when it gets edited. You get three different movies. So it's you got to be a very you have to be a very nonchalant director to give your footage to an editor and say, go ahead about your business. Because an editor can make your movie into anything they want to make it into. You can give them a comedy and they can make it into a horror film, a drama, a suspense, or an action film based on the music and the cuts that they do. So when you give a film to your editor, you gotta be very careful on who you pick because they have control to make the film anything they want. I mean, you have to think about like I have and people want to know how I feel, how I do movies so fast, and it's not because of how I shoot; it's because of how I edit. So if I shoot a whole scene and the actors are just running through their lines, quick, 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 and they're speeding through, just trying to get through it, most directors would say, "Oh, you're delivering the lines too fast. Give me some pauses, give me some beats, give me things like that." Me, because I know how to edit as well, I create my own dramatic pauses, my own beats. I know how to chop them up and how to move things around to create
So you
this
shoot to
fast
edit.
pace. Yes, correct. Yeah, I know how to clean stuff up. Like I don't. It's fine. Just say the lines this way. Don't worry about nothing else. I got it. And when I get to the editing studio, I'm able to draw out dramatics in order to make things more intense if need be. Or I know how to speed things up if I need to make it quicker. I can set tones. And that's the power of an editor. And the editor knows how to set the tone for a movie, which is very dangerous if you give your movie to just any editor, because they can make your movie a disaster, or if you want to make a movie that's a comedy, they can make the movie a suspense, so it just depends. It's a very You need to have a very close relationship with the editor or anyone in your post production team because they can make or break a really good film.
So what software do you use in post production?
So I use Final Cut 10, I think, or something. Yeah. So that's what I use.
Okay.
I don't really. I'm not. So DaVinci is a new thing that everyone's using in my circle,
Yeah,
but
I'm using DaVinci.
yeah, I don't. It's not that I can't learn it. I'm pretty sure I probably could learn it, but I'm just I don't want to learn it. I'm just that's it. And I know it's probably easier for me to learn it because that way I can do more coloring and I can just have more control. But I'm exhausted. I can't fit anything else in here. So um I would advise anyone who's new to editing to learn DaVinci. Final Cut is something that was from the past. So, that was a big thing back in the day. Oh, Final Cut, they edited Lord of the Rings on it and everything. But for new age editors, I would strongly suggest that you just do DaVinci because I see that being the new Final Cut, and I don't see it going away. I see it growing into something bigger. It's just me personally. I'm just too old, man, to just learn any new tricks. I'm an old dog, so I'm just not trying to learn anything, no new tricks.
Yeah, I think it's also so I started with Adobe Premiere,
Uh huh.
and I used to be like, I don't want to learn any new softwares, but oh my God, like,
Yeah.
because it got to a point where Adobe Premiere crashes, like back then when, like,
Hmm.
3 years ago, like it crashes. Imagine then
Yeah.
also having to export like a 1 hour, 30 minutes movie for almost 2 weeks, because
Right.
obviously because of my computer I'm using, and I have to like wait for the
Yeah.
export. And sometimes it will get to almost like 87%, then it
And it's
stops,
fresh. Yeah.
it crashes.
I hate it a lot. And a lot of people who was on Adobe transferred over to DaVinci. I think it's purposely. They
Yeah,
might be
yeah.
even together. I don't know, but I just can't
No,
do it.
they're not together. It was one day I was like, okay, this is it. It's the same concept.
Yeah.
It's the same concept of, you just need to of editing. If you understand, if you know how to edit, it's just the same concept.
Hmm.
What is required from you is just understanding where the buttons are. So you just need to figure out, go on YouTube when you need to cut or join
Hmm.
footage, or look for where there's sound, or look for,
Hmm.
where what you normally used to. You just need to look for YouTube, type,
Yeah.
you're going to find
Yeah.
it there. So that's how, I got the hang of it. That's how I learned the
That
whole,
makes sense.
yeah. So it wasn't, yeah,
I
I'm still
hate it.
learning. I'm still learning DaVinci Resolve, but I'm still using it. So it was good.
I just don't have the patience for it, man. Like I don't have the patience to learn it. That's all. Because I feel like anything that I'm not really an editor anyway. So anything that I do sit down to actually take the time out to edit, I need to just get it done. I don't really want to sit and try to make trial and error at this point. I can go on Final Cut and master an edit just like that. So to try to learn at this point, I'm just like, why? I know how to drive an automatic. I'm not trying to learn how to drive a stick right now. Yeah,
Yeah, with me though. So the movie I'm currently editing, it's taking me 2 months to actually edit it.
no way.
2 months. Like, I
That's
need to know
crazy.
how you do. You need to teach me how you edit, because with also I think I have this thing of, um my mental health. Like, I feel I don't like it. I
Hmm.
just need to be away from the computer for like a
Yeah.
day or two. Or I just don't want to like see the edit. It's almost like,
Yeah.
I'm disgusted with opening with
Right.
opening an editing software. So I just don't want to open it at all.
No, I get
Wow.
that.
Well,
Sometimes, I mean, that makes total sense. I'm the same way. That's why I just don't even think about it because I'll overthink it. So I just do it and just say, all right, I can't just submit it and I can't look at it no more.
yeah, that's nice. That's also because I also shoot to edit. I have this thing of, you know um on set. I know this is how I'm going to edit it. So it's also quick though for me to edit, but because I also do other gigs, so I have to like make time
Yeah.
for for other gigs. So that's why it's actually taking longer. But do you do like the sound design?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do my own foley.
So when it comes to like copyright music, have you had any issue with that? That sometimes you know.
I mean, for the most part, no, because I create music, so I make my own songs and just put them in the movies also. And then I have friends who make songs also, so it works out either way. But I actually enjoy making music, so I just take my own music and put it in the background for when need be.
Wow, that's nice. That's cool. So going back to filmmaking, you've this is so many like 15 plus years in your credit, and you've experienced indie film, you've gone, you're also an actor. Um, my question is, you know, what advice would you give to anyone who is starting or who's just starting up, in the entertainment industry?
My advice is if you don't have the time to wait or don't have patience, don't get into the business and don't compare yourself. Your time will come when it's right. And in the meantime, just keep practicing. Scratch everything else I said. Scratch everything else. Just keep practicing. Like seriously, man. Because even now, just the last movie that I just shot, like last week, I learned three new different things. And the only reason why I learned those three different things is because I continue to keep practicing. I'm pushed the limits. Each film that I do, I try something different. I push the limits. And let me see if I move the light right here. Let me see if I move the light right there. Let me see if I shoot in this mode versus that mode. Let me see. I'm always questioning and testing and pushing the limits. So don't just do one film and stay there. Continue to do as much as you can, and the more you do it, the better you'll get with it. Just keep practicing. No matter what, just shoot something. Even if you're shooting yourself, just shoot something.
Yeah. There's this debate when, people say, do you think film school is important? Like, what do you think about film school? People who want to go into film school.
I don't think it's necessary anymore. I think life is enough school. I think the way that technology is set up, I don't think it's necessary anymore. That's just my opinion on it. But to each his own. Me personally, I wouldn't suggest it anymore. You asked me this 10 years ago, most definitely. But now, the way everything is going, no way.
Yeah. So what should we expect from you? What are you currently working on? What movies? What should we expect from you?
Yeah. So we
Um,
have the rapper who got shot in the hill, which is streaming on Amazon Prime and also on that's it right now, Amazon Prime. And then we have The Nurse That Saw the Baby on the Highway. That's on Amazon Prime and Tubi. I have Risky Business, which is my stream series. That's on Tubi right now and Amazon Prime as well. Um, and you can just follow me on Instagram to find out more information about everything. And my Instagram page is 910 Productions underscore film. And you can find me there and learn more.
for me, I just want to say thank you again for joining me,
Most definitely.
having this discussion. I'm hoping where I'm going to invite you again to just talk more.
Love it.
And I know how busy you are. You just want to do some other things. I'm sure you have a shoot to go to now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to
Crazy.
thank you for joining me again. Yeah,
Thank you for
this has
having
been
me.
very awesome. Yeah. So, guys, thank you for watching this episode and us discussing, everything about filmmaking. And if you have questions, or any comment you want to ask Avin, please leave it on the comment section, or you can also DM him. Yeah, if you like this filmmaking discussion, please don't forget to like, subscribe. Tell me what kind of who you would want me to to have a discussion with, and I'll see you in my other videos. Love you guys, and bye.